Helping patrons preserve their pictures and documents through the scanning process has been such a fulfilling part of my Family History Center mission. We have so many scanning options available here. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about the following topics: the value of scanning in family history work, some of the main scanning options available at the BYU Family History Center, the details of using the OpticBook A300 scanner, and a source to go to learn how to enhance your photos that are less than perfect, your scans. A question once posed by a patron caused some thought. Why so much focus on histories and stories when our main emphasis should be on finding names and doing temple work? Probably one of the main values of scanning is to preserve the many photos and documents we have hidden away in our home that might be thrown out by someone who finds them and does not value them. Also, to improve and enhance the photos which fade with time. And equally important is to share them with others. You see the joy in my niece's face as she sees her father and grandparents as young people. It would be a shame for these photos to get lost and for the people in the photos and their descendants never to see them. As you see and learn about your ancestors, you come to love and care about them. It becomes important to get their temple work done so they can have eternal family connections. I recently found and scanned these photos, which are over 100 years old, of my grandfather's life as they settled the Bighorn Basin in Wyoming. Priceless. Another reason is to find temple work that is needed on our ancestors in scanned photos and documents. A story on Family Search by Travis Jordan tells how, as he discovered photos of and learned about his grandfather, the information on the back of the photos led to research and in the end temple work being done for his ancestors. He closed his story by admonishing us to find these photos and add them to Family Search Family Tree, to ask the questions about them that lead to temple ordinances that will change the lives and eternities of our ancestors. Let's look at some of the scanning options that are available here at the BYU Family History Center. The Canon Sheet Feed Scanner is great for scanning into PDFs, stacks of separate pages to your thumb drive. It will scan the front and back in one operation, color or black and white. It can create searchable optical character recognized scans if the type is text, and you can then put these PDFs on mobile devices. You can email them, bookmark them, and read them anywhere. The Epson Scan Slide Scanner is an older slide scanner but very reliable and good quality. It has a backlit lid which allows you to scan negatives as well as slides. If you put the shield in the lid, you can also scan high quality photos. It's very versatile, though probably not the fastest for some of the photo scanning options. The Zeta Book Scanner is great for quickly scanning fragile books into PDFs. It's gentle on the book and has a special indentation for the spine that protects it. You do get page curvature distortion as the pages are not scanned flat. The Kodak ScanStation 500 is our older photo scanner, but is still a wonderful machine. It scans directly to a thumb drive and is not attached to a computer. It scans quickly and has a stack feeder. It will scan front and back in one operation, black and white or color, though it's probably not quite as high a resolution as the new Kodak PS80. The Kodak PS80 system is the latest and greatest Kodak photo scanner system. It also scans from a stack or individually, and it scans front and back, black and white, or color. Part of this scanning system includes a flatbed scanner for scanning fragile, too small, or too large items directly into your photo stream. It's not as direct as getting photos into your thumb drive, but it's very doable. The Scan Pro 2000 and 3000 are amazing microfilm scanners. The older one, the 2000, has been a reliable BYU workhorse. The new one, the 3000, has some added features. It has a better camera and lens. It has the auto copy ability, which allows you to save multiple pages to a file on your thumb drive and print them directly to our printers. There is an API being developed for the 3000 to allow you to directly send your scans to Family Search Family Tree. The ST-View Scan 2 is another one of the newer microfilm scanners. It allows you to do a collage of items from several pages and adjust the size and picture quality of each of the pieces separately and annotate on the page. You can then print this annotated collage to the printers or save it to your drivers. This company is also developing an API to allow you to send directly from the scanner to Family Search Family Tree. The PowerSlide 5000 is the newest slide scanner. It will scan batches of 50 or 125 slides at a time, depending on the cartridge you get at the student desk to scan your slides. You can also use the pop-up option on the top to scan one slide at a time. It has Magic Touch and Auto Color features. Again, it's nice because you can do your scans unattended once you've started. Today we will be reviewing in detail the OpticBook A300 scanner. It is great for scanning old delicate photos at a high resolution. It is good for quality book scans. It avoids that dark bookbind distortion with its unique book edge, which allows the book to lie flat as shown here. It's also good for scanning whole scrapbook pages or Book of Remembrance pages. It scans large pages up to 12 inches by 17 inches. Now let's talk about maneuvering through the Book Pavilion software that drives the scanner. For those of you not totally comfortable with the Windows environment, let's look at a few features that will help us as we go through this process. One way to open a window for viewing is to hold the Windows key down with your thumb, and while holding it down, hit the E key. A window will come up. In the left-hand portion of the window, you can navigate to anywhere on the computer by clicking on the triangles next to the folders. And once you have a folder selected, you can view the contents of that folder shown on the right in many different ways. These two are viewed as large icons and details. In order to select your viewing option, you click the drop-down arrow in this area and it will bring up this drop-down box with the selections for viewing. I usually choose large icons for photos. You can choose details for lists. To move the window around, click on this bar, hold the mouse down, and drag the window around. To resize the window, click and drag on the very corners or sides until the cursor showing a double arrow appears. Then click down and push and you can resize the window. One way to prepare a new folder on your scans for your scans, if you have the thumb drive folder selected, is click on this option, New Folder. Just as a pilot goes through a checklist for a safe flight, I've prepared a checklist for a good scanning experience. Let's look at that checklist. The first item on the checklist is not always necessary, that of reserving the scanner. A lot of times if you just walk into the library, there is a scanner available, but if you have only a specific time period that you have to scan, for instance, if people are coming in from out of town, you'll want to reserve the scanner, and you'll need a BYU username and password that you can get from the student desk. You then go to the BYU Family History Center webpage, scroll to the bottom, and click on the scanner reservations link, and this window will come up. And the first three options are the OpticBook scanners. Using the boxes up above, you can set your time and day, and you can scan for a 2-hour blocks, and you can reserve two 2-hour blocks that aren't connected to each other in any one day. Once you're in the library and ready to scan, it's time to approach the computer and get started. Log into your computer, insert your thumb drive, prepare a folder as we discussed on your thumb drive, unless you want to just dump them into the main thumb drive. Display the folder at the bottom of your screen, and to do this again, Windows E will open a window. Browse to your scan folder that you set up. Choose your viewing option as large icons. resize and move the window to the bottom of the screen, and then open the Book Pavilion software. The easiest way I've found to do this is just double-click on the Book Pavilion icon on the left. This is what your computer screen will look like, showing your destination folder on the bottom and the Book Pavilion window on the top. Place your object on the scanning bed as shown. You may want to get a glass cleaning tissue at the desk to wipe the glass clean or your photos before you start your project. Here are the settings in Book Pavilion that I usually choose. In the slides that follow, I'll show some other options for these settings. 1. Purpose. This is where you tell the software whether you want your scans to be individual items or scanned as one PDF. As I have had trouble with PDFs, I use the File Utility option to save as individual scans. The file format, I usually select JPEG. Some prefer TIFF, and we'll look at that later. Properties, I usually go with the default, though this is where you can change the JPEG mode to high compression if you desire. Rotation, check your preview and see if rotation is needed. Again, you can rotate scans later, so it's not critical to rotate them right now. Destination folder, you hit the Browse button and browse to your destination folder you have set up on your thumb drive, and that will show in the box. File name, here you type a prefix that will be common for all your scans. The suffix will be the unique file number, and the number of digits will be set by the pad option. I just usually go with the default, which is 3 digits. Here, once you click the Mode button, is where you set the resolution and the D-screen options for your scan. You can change the resolution and the D-screen options at any time during your scanning by hitting the Mode button. D-screen is what you select when you're scanning a newspaper. Auto crop, I don't generally use auto crop because the scanner doesn't always correctly find the borders of the picture. After your settings are all completed and you're ready to scan, you put your object on the scanner and hit the preview button, and you will see a preview of what your scan will look like. This is when you adjust the crop for that scan. When you're ready to scan, you hit the appropriate scan button. You can either do it in the software or on the scanner. I usually use color scan or grayscale scan. I scan all photos as color scan, and I use the grayscale scan if it's a text-only object with no colors on it. When you are done with your scanning project, or if you want to change all of your settings, including your file location, hit the Close button and you can start over. Looking at some of the different options under Purpose, there are only 2 that I have used. They are File Utility for individual scans such as JPEGs, TIFFs, etc., or a PDF utility for one big PDF. Again, I prefer the File Utility for individual scans and combine them later into a PDF. In the File Format option, I usually select JPEG, but here is where if you want a TIFF or another format shown here, you can select that. And using the Properties dialog box, you can change the quality of the JPEG. I usually go with the default. Here you see the options in the rotation drop-down box, which you can choose after you preview and see if your scan needs rotation. The really handy one is the rotate 180 degrees on even or odd scans in case you're doing book scan. In the destination folder, again, you hit the Browse button and the screen on the right will come up and you browse to your thumb drive. And if you don't have a folder that you've created and want to create one, you can click Make New Folder and make a new folder on your thumb drive. Once you hit the Mode Setting button, the drop-down window on the right appears. I select Color from the top tabs because I scan all photos in color. You can then choose your resolution from the drop-down menu or choose Custom and type in your own resolution. If you're scanning a newspaper, it's a good idea to change the D-screen filter to D-screen, and it does a better job. Other than that, I just use the default. Now that your settings are completed, put your object on the scanner and press the preview button either on the scanner as shown or in the software as shown. And the following window will appear showing how your item appears on the scanner. In order to crop your item, select the lower corner of the dancing ants, hold down the mouse, and drag it until it hugs the edges of your project. To scan an object, hit either the color or grayscale scan, either on the actual scanner or in the software. Sometimes the quality of your scan is less than perfect. It can be enhanced, so don't get discouraged. Touch-ups do make a difference. Here are some before and afters of some scans that have been touched up. To get to a short YouTube presentation on enhancing your photos, in the URL type youtube.com. In the search box on the YouTube site, type BYU Family History Library. Scroll down and select the BYU Family History Library link. Scroll through the videos and find and select Enhancing Photos with Photoshop. Have fun finding and scanning your documents. Enhance your photos and make them a part of your family histories.